Have you ever tried to picture infinity? I don't mean just thinking about a big number or imagining a starry sky that stretches forever. I mean really sitting with the idea, trying to wrap your mind around something that has no edge, no limit, no end. Something that just is, endlessly. If you've ever attempted that, you've probably felt it, that strange, dizzying feeling that washes over you like standing on the edge of a cliff with nothing below but fog. That moment when your mind hits a wall, and your imagination keeps walking. That's infinity. It's one of the most mind-bending ideas humans have ever come up with. But here's the question that has haunted mathematicians, philosophers, scientists, and thinkers for thousands of years. Is infinity just an idea, or is it something real? Let's start simple. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can keep going. Forever. You'll never reach the end. There is no last number. No matter how far you go, there's always another step. That's our first encounter with infinity, hidden in something as basic as counting. It feels infinite because it is infinite. But does that mean numbers go on forever in reality? Or just in theory? See, that's where the cracks begin to show. Just because something can be imagined infinitely doesn't necessarily mean it exists that way in the real world. Infinity might not be something we can touch, it might be something we invented to make sense of things we couldn't explain. And yet, it keeps showing up. In mathematics, infinity is used all the time. It's in calculus, where we deal with limits and functions that approach infinity. It's in geometry, when we talk about parallel lines meeting at infinity. It's in the concept of infinite series, those endless strings of numbers that somehow, impossibly, add up to something finite. We've learned how to work with infinity. To manipulate it. To build systems around it. But here's the trick, in math, infinity is not a number. It's not something you can measure. You can't reach it. You can't write it down. You can't subtract from it or divide it the way you do with other numbers. Infinity in math is more of a direction than a destination. It's a sign that says, keep going, there's more. You're not done yet. But does infinity live only in the world of symbols and chalkboards? Let's talk about the universe. We often hear that the universe is infinite. That space stretches in all directions, endlessly. No walls. No edges. Just forever. But do we know that? Not really. What we do know is that the universe is expanding. Space itself is growing, faster and faster, in fact. But whether it expands into infinity or loops back on itself in some cosmic curve, that's still up for debate. Some scientists think the universe is like the surface of a sphere, no edge, no boundary, but still finite. If you kept traveling in one direction, you might eventually end up where you started, just like flying around the Earth. Others believe it truly is infinite, with no end in sight. But here's the thing, our tools have limits. We can only see as far as light has had time to travel since the Big Bang. That's called the observable universe. Anything beyond that? We can't see it. We can't measure it. We can't know it. And if we can't observe it, can we say it's real? Now let's dive into something even more strange, time. We experience time as something that flows. We live in its current. It moves in one direction, from past to present to future. But how long has it been flowing? Physics tells us that time began around 13.8 billion years ago, at the moment of the Big Bang. Before that, time, as we understand it, didn't exist. There was no before. Just nothing. That already bends the brain. But what about the future? Will time go on forever? Maybe. Maybe not. Some theories suggest the universe will expand forever, cooling as it does, until all energy is used up, a scenario known as the heat death of the universe. Others propose that the universe could eventually collapse back in on itself. Or maybe something even stranger will happen, something we haven't even imagined yet. The point is, we don't know if time is infinite. We just assume it might be, because we can't see its end. But that assumption is built on a concept, not a fact. Even in philosophy, infinity has been more of a playground than a destination. Aristotle believed that actual infinity didn't exist. He thought of infinity as potential, a process that could go on indefinitely, but was never truly complete. It's like walking toward the horizon. You can keep going, but you'll never get there. There's always more road. And maybe that's the key to understanding infinity. It's not something we arrive at. It's something we endlessly approach. Infinity is the unreachable, the untouchable, the unknowable. And yet, we use it all the time. Not just in science, but in our language, in our emotions, in our stories. We talk about infinite love, infinite possibilities. We describe the soul as eternal, the afterlife as endless. We look up at the stars and feel small, not just because the sky is big, but because deep down, we suspect it might go on forever. And something about that humbles us. Maybe infinity isn't about math or physics at all. Maybe it's a mirror. Maybe it reflects our deepest desires. Our thirst to understand. Our fear of limits. Our refusal to accept that some things must end. Because we don't want the story to stop. We don't want the music to fade. We want more. Always more. And infinity? Infinity is the promise that there might be more. So, is infinity real? Maybe not in the way we think. Maybe not in any way we can measure or prove. But as a concept, as an idea, as a lens through which we see the world, it's very real. It shapes our theories. It drives our imagination. It lives at the edge of every thought we've ever had about what's possible. And maybe that's enough. Maybe infinity doesn't have to exist as a thing, to be one of the most powerful forces in the universe.